By the end of this video, you'll have a simple system to get properly exposed photos without having to memorize settings or understand every technical detail of your camera. We're going to use two things that your camera already has, the light meter and exposure compensation, and I'll show you exactly how they work together and why some things can go wrong and what you can do about it for better, more intentional camera settings. Now, particularly in automatic shooting modes, so like full auto, aperture priority, shutter priority, your camera is using your light meter and the metering modes to figure out what the best exposure for your photo is. And most of the time, those modes are pretty smart and pretty good at finding the right exposure. But in some situations, they can get fooled if there is like a really bright light source and a really dark area of the photo at the same time. That's because your camera in these automatic modes are trying to find the most balanced in between to find an average of the darkest and the lightest tones and try to find something in the middle. But sometimes that will end up skewing your overall exposure to be too dark or too bright, even when you're in those automatic settings. An example of this would be, say, a person standing in front of a really bright sky. Your camera is likely going to underexpose the person because more of the frame is being filled with that bright sky, so it's going to expose for those bright highlights and then leave the person perhaps a little bit too dark, and you begin to lose information there. A slightly different situation would be, say you're in the forest and you're shooting through the trees and there's an opening on the other side. The trees are going to be really dark, but the opening where there's less foliage is going to be a lot brighter. So that big difference in exposure, your camera's going to have a hard time balancing. It's going to expose for that lighter area, perhaps leaving your forest too dark, or vice versa. So when this happens to us, we have something that we can use called exposure compensation, and it basically gives you the control to say, okay, I see what my automatic settings did, but I want to make that a little bit darker or a little bit brighter. So suddenly you have a little bit more autonomy over your settings. Now, something that many people don't realize about exposure compensation though is that it isn't some like extra magic setting that your camera has. It's actually just changing either your shutter, aperture, or ISO for you. So if you're shooting in shutter priority, for example, with a fixed ISO, say you chose ISO 100, bumping your exposure compensation to be a little bit brighter only leaves your camera with one setting that it could change, which is the aperture. If you had auto ISO enabled, meaning your camera could choose whatever ISO it wants or whatever aperture it wants, but you've set your shutter because we're in shutter priority, then your camera is going to adjust a mixture of both the ISO and the aperture to balance your exposure correctly based on your exposure compensation setting. The camera makes those choices for you so that you don't have to think twice about which settings to tweak like you would in manual mode, for example. To give you an example of this, currently I'm in aperture priority, meaning I get to choose my aperture and then the shutter speed and the ISO, my camera is going to choose that for me. So currently I'm set to f8, meaning that's my aperture currently. And if I went to change the exposure compensation just by using the dial on my particular camera to brighten things up, in this case, I went and changed the ISO because it has the option, since the aperture is fixed in this particular mode, I chose it, it has the option to go and change either the ISO or the shutter speed. So those are the two additional settings that it has available to it. So is exposure compensation the complete solution to perfect exposure? Well, honestly, no, but it's a really solid starting point to get better exposures, especially when you're working in automatic modes. It lets you focus on taking photos without getting lost in the weeds and settings and still get a balanced exposure. But once you feel comfortable with this, you're ready to take the next step into manual mode, where you have even more control. And with this simple formula I'm about to share, I think finding perfect manual settings will get a lot easier for you. Now, quick side note, if all of these camera settings still feel a bit overwhelming, I put together a free photography essentials guide that breaks down exposure, key settings, and how all these things work together in a way that's actually easy to reference. You can grab it in the description below. It's totally free when you join my mailing list. Unsubscribe at any time. I think you'll find it really useful. But anyways, let's get back to it. The thing about aperture priority, shutter priority, or any of those auto modes, your camera is making creative decisions for you without asking. It's deciding how much motion blur you get, how action is frozen, how much of your scene is going to be in focus with depth of field, how much grain your image ends up with. And it's not choosing this based on what's going to look best, based on like creative intention. It's just trying to hit that middle exposure based on your light meter. So when you shoot in manual mode, you're the one deciding which of those things actually matter to you, whether you're trying to freeze motion, blur the background, and things like that. So that's why I'd suggest trying manual mode when you have the time to choose your settings thoughtfully, and it's super easy to do when you start with this. Now, when we're shooting in manual mode, we don't have exposure compensation because the camera has no settings that it can control for us anymore. Instead, we're the one that's reading the light meter and trying to change our exposure accordingly using our shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. But fortunately, it's really easy to find that balance with this formula here. So first, I'm gonna go into manual mode on my camera. And then if you're brand new to manual mode and you have no idea how this stuff works, I'd recommend doing the following. Start with your shutter speed at 1/100. So that's the 1 with the slash beside it. Set your aperture to f8, and then set your ISO to 100. Now at this point, your photo is going to either be really bright or really dark, depending on your scene. And you can see on my light meter on the side of the screen that I'm well below the middle point. So that means I need to brighten things up. So I'm gonna first ask myself, well, how much depth of field do I want in this photo? How much do I want to have in focus? Ideally, since it's a landscape, I wanna have a lot in focus. So I'll go and change my aperture to f11 to begin. Now that's gonna make my photo pretty dark. So since I'm on a tripod, I can next go and change my shutter speed. I'm not worrying about how slow it is because it's gonna stay perfectly still. My camera won't move by me holding it. So I'll continue to bring this up. Looking at that light meter on the side, you can already see how it's balanced in the middle already. Now for bonus points, I also have the histogram up in the corner, which I'll talk about in another video, but that basically also confirms that my exposure is balanced. So just with those two corrections, I changed my aperture and then my shutter speed. Because I'm on the tripod, it makes the shutter speed pretty easy, but now I could go and take my photo and I know it's going to be perfectly exposed. So although manual mode doesn't have exposure compensation, when you have the time to go and pick your settings, it's actually super simple to hit that middle point of your light meter and get a perfectly exposed photo. Now in some situations, you'll notice that your exposure, even though it's right in the middle of the light meter, some areas will look way too bright, some areas may look way too dark. And this is common when we have super high contrasty scenes. An easy example of this is if you're shooting sunset at like the ocean, there's like a really bright sky, it's probably a dark foreground, and you're gonna have super bright highlights and super dark shadows. So it's almost impossible to expose everything perfectly in one frame like that. So in these situations, we actually can use a technique called bracketing, where we take multiple exposures to cover the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights. So you capture the perfect exposure for all of those ranges, and then we combine those images together into an HDR image in post. But that's kind of a topic for a whole other video. If you would like me to make that, let me know down in the comments below, or just to get started, you can look up your camera model plus how to bracket, and you'll find some info on that there. This is ultimately the technique that you would use if you do everything to balance your exposure as we've talked about, but it still looks too bright or too dark in some areas of your frame. So to recap all of this, use your light meter as your guide for general brightness, and then use exposure compensation to fine tune where your camera settings got it wrong. And when you're ready for more control, take those same principles into manual mode for the best results in situations when you have the time to pick your settings, like landscape photography, for example. Now, if you want a quick reference for all of this, the Photography Essentials Guide I mentioned covers exposure, camera settings, and a bunch of other foundational skills in one downloadable PDF. It's free and linked in the description below if you want to grab a copy of that. If you found this helpful, I'd love to know down in the comments below, or if you have any feedback that you'd like to add to the conversation, feel free to share it there as well. Anyways, that is all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.